All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for My Hero Academia, Season 3, Episode 19.
Okay. Gotten through the first stage.
Yes. And we are into the rescue stage of the provisional license exam thing. Now, here's the thing. We don't know if this is the last... portion of the exam.
They could totally have it be the last portion, but
I have
something else.
Right, I have a very sneaking suspicion that it is going to be.
Me too.
And that given that they don't want people to necessarily be probably competing against each other to rescue others and stuff,
right?
It's probably going to be a more like,
they probably won't be doing it on just personal scores.
Right, or more so there's not going to be a linear gain of the points. Like, you can gain points by just doing
helping
a proper
other people
job. Yes, exactly.
Rescue people.
Right. My thought also is that one of the things that they could do is basically say, like, okay, you have points that you need to get, but like if you don't get up to that amount of points, then you're automatically a failure. But if you get not even up to a certain amount of points and stuff, you're going to get some kind of a negative potentially.
Sure. Or they could have penalties of judges, or there's tons of ways they could do it. So that'll be interesting to see.
Right. I'm mostly interested specifically in Bakugo to see how he responds, given that his nature is very abrasive and not very typically hero-like,
and certainly not very rescue-oriented.
Well, I could see him being decent at rescuing people, but specifically how he rectifies the two of his desire to win and be the best, but also his nature.
And then, of course, there's Inasa. Maybe we'll get to see more of his.
Oh, Inasa's gonna kill it at this bit here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, specifically his beef with Todoroki. Oh, that's true. That's true. That could be cool too. Yeah. Without further ado, guys, let's get into this. All right, so the rescue operation has begun. Gang Orca showed up with a crew. Like there are a bunch of them.
They were in uniforms, weapons, and things. And all right,
and this could be kind of crazy because I wonder how far the role play aspect of this will go when it comes to the villains, because some of the people who have quirks on the kids side. They're pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Just Kaminari alone.
Right, yeah.
You could have someone have a, their heart stop or something.
Because the thing is, the thing that would probably be, in a lot of ways, the best for him to do would be to, once he sees a big group, just run in there and use everything. Yep. And it's like, okay, I might not be able to do anything from now on, but I did my part. I took out a bunch of them, and now I'm passing it on to you guys.
Yeah.
But, Yeah.
But still, also just Bakugo, or even, I mean, I know Deku, he focuses more so on using a lower percentage of one for all intentionally. Sure. But the thing is that, their rule, not their rule, but their orders are generally to stop villains for the purpose of saving as many lives as possible.
Right. Yep.
So this might be one of those scenarios where, like in the final episodes of Season 2, it's not necessarily about fighting the villains or defeating them. It's about essentially holding them off away from away from the people that need to be rescued, away from the civilians.
That is absolutely true.
Someone like Cementos in his younger years
would have been
amazing at this because he just put concrete walls.
It'd be like Age of Empires, where the people just keep building the walls, so that your auto movement troops just keep trying to get around them,
Right? I mean, this is the age of Quirk, so there are probably those that could just go over it or just go right through it.
Yeah.
But I imagine that there's going to be a lot of utility type heroes or kids with quirks like that are going to shine really well in this instance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not the people that just generally have really strong quirks for fighting, like Tokoyami. Like Tokoyami's quirk, we don't know if his bird can actually be damaged. Like,
but it could be helpful for like it's definitely helpful for fighting, but it could also potentially be helpful for rescuing with like picking people up far away.
But we have people like Shoji, for instance, who is like the best information gatherer of them all.
Yeah,
you have people like Sero
or Sero,
who could basically be like, all right, Uraraka, give me some like people that need help and stuff.
Right.
Toss them over there to someone that's running really far away. They like, receive them and nicely like float them down. And
well, or even he could just set up a net out of tape and just be like, all right, just toss people over here.
Sure.
Or like there's all kinds of things that could happen.
Yeah.
And of course, Mineta, as far as deterring villains go.
Yeah, like
no one can beat his sticky purple balls.
Like Mineta and Ida could team up, and Ida could basically
hold him around.
Yeah, and then Mineta just throws his balls on villains and stuff, and they're just
or
all
just directly
there.
sticks them to them.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking forward to next episode is a lot of funky, cool Quirk combinations, like a lot of them.
Yep.
And I'm guessing that's basically the best kind of payoff we can have here.
Right.
But they also brought up the thing that you were wanting to see most this episode, which was the Inasa Todoroki situation. Now, and specifically the Inasa Endeavor Todoroki situation.
Yeah.
Because he called him the son of Endeavor.
Yeah. And that's
telling.
Yeah, that's telling. That's telling who
lot.
You really have the beef with. Like,
right. Now,
now
this is a thing that's probably good to bring up. One instance that was on public television did Todoroki, Shoto, show basically Endeavor-like qualities.
Possibly his fight against Sero.
Yes.
Maybe.
I think that's the best example of that. Where he basically bragged to the world in an emotionally compromised state, but no one in the stands is going to see that, really.
Right.
That he is a god of power.
But of course, the thing is, okay, I hope that's not what it is, because if that's the case, Inasa does the same thing too. He took out 120 people when he didn't need to.
Yes, the thing with Inasa though is that he's all about passion.
Right.
Todoroki, he has no knowledge of what motivates him, so he just assumes the worst. He assumes that because he's a Todoroki.
Inasa is assuming the worst. Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's really the only explanation. It's
right.
There's nothing that Todoroki, Shoto, of course, we're not talking about Endeavor, has done that Inasa could even really see other than that.
Right.
If anything, if he watched the tournament, which I'm guessing Inasa did because he's a big fan of UA.
That's true.
And they were owning.
Yeah, you'd think he would. You'd think he would at least have seen a bit of the 210 stuff.
That's another thing to bring up is that the whole tournament thing is just UA. There's no one else there.
True. Yeah.
So there is a slight possibility that he wouldn't have watched it because there would be no representation of another school there. It's kind of like, oh yeah, UA people. But I think he's the kind of person that probably would have watched it.
Yeah.
So,
although he might have just gotten hung up on when the Shota.
Yeah. But the thing is, I think if he watched the Deku Todoroki encounter, and or maybe even the Bakugo Todoroki encounter, he would see that there's something going on.
He mentioned a time that they had met earlier, or at least he had observed him earlier. And so one of the things I'm curious about is, was there a point where basically they met and they're going to reveal this in a flashback or whatever? Off screen, like when they were doing the Quirk assessments. Because that I could totally see that happening because they were next to each other, right?
Sure.
And also was the one in front of Todoroki.
But the thing is they both were entered in by recommendations.
No, right. But that was because of how well they did in the Quirk assessment.
Right.
So,
and my thing is that it doesn't make perfect sense for them to be physically near each other for
it does
a written test. Like, What would they do? They just kind of talk and stare at each other afterwards.
I don't think it was a written test. I think it was a demonstrate your quirk test.
Duh.
So, and in that case, they might have potentially had a single facility for it because they want to be able to actually handle the quirks that are unleashed there. But it could have been at different times. It could have, been whatever. But
and they're the two like top tier elementalists,
right? Or it could just be the fact that he knows that, he knows about the whole idea of the quirk marriage and all that stuff, and he probably didn't get it from a quirk marriage, right? So he basically sees Todoroki, Shoto, as being like this
spawn.
Yeah, basically. Right.
It's an interesting thing because I would say that makes it more of a flaw for Inasa, really, than something that compelling. What it does is it says that while he is about passion, he's a bit stubborn in maybe learning.
Every weakness is a misapplied strength.
Right.
So if his strength is passion,
he
what happens
passionately is against Todoroki.
Right. Yeah.
And he's all in on that. He's an all or nothing person, which I think is also a good thing, because then that means if he is then presented with enough, reason to overcome that,
right?
It's almost going to feel a bit abrupt, but I think he'll just revert back to being like, all right, well then you're a great hero. Like,
sure.
There we go.
Especially, I mean, come on, with how emotionally moving the events of 210 were. I could see that really getting to Inasa. So once he gets the whole story, if he ever does.
I don't think he'll ever get the full story.
Yeah, probably.
Todoroki doesn't seem like the kind of person that just shares his life story with everyone like Deku.
I mean, he did walk up to Deku and say, here's my life story. But yeah, I get what you mean.
Well, Todoroki specifically did that for Deku in a
because,
hallway that he took him away from one-on-one.
Because of the All Might Secret Love Child thing and the tournament coming up and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
The only person who really knows anything else about that is Bakugo, at least in one way. And the only reason Bakugo knows is because Bakugo was like, I'm going to win, so I have to beat these two guys because they're the strong ones.
I'm going to snoop them.
I'm going to stalk them.
Yep.
So back to the rescue thing. They have a company dedicated for professionals in need of rescue.
That's so amazing.
That's so hilariously just...
And they're the
ones.
They're the ones grading them too, like giving them, like scoring them and stuff. That's scary because then,
I think they're the bonus point people, though.
Well, also penalty point.
That's the other thing. That's penalty points
because you can just have someone that's having a bad day. Maybe they don't actually like their job all that much, and they're like, points taken off. Whereas other people are like, this job's amazing. So they're just like, yeah, you're doing great. You're doing great,
But I think this is a cool alternative to what I was theorizing, that we would have kind of if you don't score enough points, you get in trouble. It's more of if you don't do this properly, minus 2 points, minus a few points or something like that.
The idea that as they were from before, they passed.
Right.
But if they do things really badly here, they could still fail.
No, I mean, they still need to gain points.
Oh, gotcha. I mean, sure.
See, because they said if you pass the threshold, you'll gain points. So I think everyone kind of reset back to 0. And it's basically that, now you need to pass...
Sure.
Like, you went through the first gauntlet of the Battle Royale. Now we need you to get through the next gauntlet, which is, you need 100 points... And a minus point thing takes away 2 points or something like that.
At that point, though, like once you start dealing with minus and plus points in a test, they mean the same thing pretty much. Because a minus point is just a bonus point that you didn't get. A bonus point is a minus point you didn't get. So
right. But that's hilarious. Like this feels almost like a parody thing. Although I know that the reason...
that bit of self-awareness there.
Right. It's that bit of self-awareness that I think My Hero Academia needs to have somewhat, because this show isn't the kind of show that has lore. When I say lore, I mean the kind of things that are tied to One for All and All for One. That's lore. That's like mythic level stuff, where... Things are blending fact with legend,
So now here they're basically just giving world building, because they're starting to sort of ask the question, could we really afford to have like a single school set up a city for one class test? That seems economically not very viable. So
there's
we'll
some
have them all
group
come
of
together,
people out
and there's
there.
a business that's all about making that happen.
See, that's the thing that's going to be revealed. There's this super corporation that has a bunch of people that are all built to assembling matter. They have just a bunch of people. Like, I'm going to go super weird deep on this for like 20 seconds. There is a corporation out there in the My Hero Academia world, and it's probably super wealthy. And all they do is assemble things.
So basically,
they are
have
Legos.
a bunch of Momos.
It's the Lego company, basically. They have a bunch of people like Momo.
Okay, I mean, hey,
but not only the people that can like create the matter or like transmute
but like,
the matter.
yeah, like telekinetics or whatever, or
No,
molecular manipulators.
No, I mean like people that are like, I have a mental image of a building, and as long as I have the materials necessary to do that, I can make that image. I can mold material into that image, as close as possible.
I mean, that's what Momo does.
Yes, Momo is better than that in that she can generate the material herself.
Sure.
I'm meaning someone that like can like use just their imagination. They don't even need to know how.
Yeah, all the different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
The point is that depending on what your quirk is in this world, you could get a very high-paying job.
Right, and that there are a lot of interesting jobs out there, even for those that are quirkless. And I think this is an example of a job where some people who are quirkless could still find interesting ways to make money and
in a way still
feel
like they're participating in hero work because
they help develop the heroes.
Exactly. Yeah. Which is pretty cool.
Imagine Deku, like 12 years or whatever, if he hadn't gotten a quirk, this could be where he'd end up.
If he would be
taking notes as he like met new heroes and stuff.
Assuming he didn't go the Moomin Rider route.
Right. I'm saying that like say he did that on the side, but this is how he made money.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things that like seeing the kid there, that just makes me wonder how many like 7-year-olds like like our parents just like, all right, son, all right, all right, Janet, this is your time. All right, after school we're gonna be doing this.
Did you notice though the babies were elderly. They were actually elderly people.
Oh, that's right.
The kids, the babies, were more like teenagers.
Sure.
They're just really small.
Right. That'd be a pretty cool part-time job to have. Like,
I know, right?
Going
That's
through high school and what do you do? Oh, I basically like go into buildings that have been recently just exploded and then lie with fake blood on me, buy some concrete and scream things at kids. It's a living. And
it's like actual paid work. It's not like volunteer stuff or anything.
Yeah.
Like I could totally be a volunteer for that. That would be really fun. But like, no, this is legitimate. This is a legitimate paying job. So I think that's the kind of creativity that My Hero Academia needs, actually.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that the world doesn't really have right now are specific kind of technology or different innovations that are there specifically because we live in a superhero society.
Right. Yeah.
It feels like the superhero society part is very new, and a lot
even
of
though
things
it's actually been
adapted.
around for a long time. Yeah.
Right.
One of the things. Okay, I just had an image of
that?
a salesperson for this company.
Okay.
Basically talking to a representative of UA or whatever, like Aizawa or something like that, and he's like, which package would you like?
I see the awkward connotation.
If you want 200 people that need rescuing, we can do that. But do you want your students to have a less than experience? You're trying to train the best of the best. I recommend the 1,000 plan.
It's
we
actually
throw in an extra
kind of
skyscraper
cringy
for free.
Yeah, I almost feel like though that given how much the government is involved, probably in the school of UA. Actually, UA is probably the least governmentally involved, but it's probably more or less a
government funded thing.
So where UA has no like direct involvement with it.
Yeah.
Because the government needs to be able to clarify,
make sure that everything's regulated,
regulated
and all that
properly.
stuff. Sure, yeah.
So I could see it actually being a thing where there's very little transaction work being done, other than just a little books thing behind the scenes to make sure that costs are taken care of.
But could you imagine if there were salespeople that had to like cold call schools or something like that?
Yeah, I could see that being a thing if, say, Endeavor's Hero Agency in particular wants to have a specific training course for their own people only.
We need a custom training course in order to pump out the best ones possible.
I want 200 of your best kids. Wait, what did you just say? Phrasing.
And I need it to be a very, very particular type of interactive and variable terrain.
I need 40 elderly and like 20 kids. And then can I get
about 900 kilograms of explosives planted throughout to go off in stages throughout?
See, that's where this super corporation, I'm telling you, would just be like insane. And I almost suspect that this will be a plot point way in the future when My Hero Academia kind of grows up in certain plot themes that it wants to go on, where it's like, yeah, why is the world kind of getting held back a little bit technologically?
Sure.
When we have all of these quirks that can just create matter,
right. It's like
because we're worried about what that level of freedom on the individual level means for society.
Sure.
And I think that's the kind of plot point we either will never see in My Hero Academia, or we will see it, but it's going to be way later when the enemy is not like a villain. It's more or less like a corporation trying to like just have a monopoly on specific quirks. Like say Momo will be the tie-in to that.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, we're going to hire you. Here's like $500,000 like open like bonus or whatever just to join. She's like, oh my god.
She's like, oh my god, I can buy some clothes with it.
So that's right. She's already filthy rich. I can see her actually turning it down. She's like, oh, that's really sweet of you for such a small sum of money. But I really have my heart set on being this. And they're like,
my parents own your rival corporation.
Oh, there you go. I would actually going to say her parents are going to be a part of the corporation.
Hey, if Momo ever wanted to be an inventor, though, that would be pretty terrifying, because she could just think of something and be like, does that work? Nope, it doesn't.
I mean, she would have to design it still from the ground up.
Right, yeah.
So...
But
she might as well just...
But she'd just have to think through the logic of it. She wouldn't have to actually, like...
No, but she would probably start at the baser level just assembling the components herself.
Sure, maybe.
And then I guess play with those, and then once she'd done that, then go and then assemble it.
Still could be terrifying.
Yes. Yeah. I liked that little talk that the guy who looks like a Naruto villain
Wait,
on the sidelines, and he's like, don't you know you were the only one that that failed?
Yep, that was great.
But they mentioned that bit about how Stain's influence on the reformation of heroes can also be a good thing for heroes, because now
All Might's gone.
Well, All Might's gone was used in combination with that, but they were saying that set of factors has really upped the ante, or upped the threshold of what is required of those to become heroes, and also upped kind of everyone else's I would say desire to show that they are true heroes.
Because his message resonated with so many people, now they're calling themselves up to a higher standard.
And All Might being gone is just like that adding.
Right, it's that thing of now it's not just something you want to do, it's actually your duty to society now, because we need you now more than ever.
Right.
You know.
So it's kind of a cool little meta commentary on where MHA's world is right now. And I feel like that this whole training bit here is really kind of the in-between breather bit before like whatever's coming up next. But like specifically having this type of commentary, I think gives us an idea as to what the upcoming conflicts on the grander scale will be like. Because there's always the possibility that All for One escapes again.
Sure.
Or Stain escapes, you know.
Or any number of combinations of, you know, bad things. Yeah,
exactly. So what kind of conflict evolution will things take on, and or do you think there's anything directly related to this that we should be kind of looking into with potentially Toga's involvement?
Well, I think that's the big thing, and that was the other thing that
that's the other thing we needed to
this episode is that they did not. It wasn't as direct, I guess, because they didn't have people being like, "Oh, she seems, you know, to be acting a little bit differently now."
If anything, they gave us two things. They gave us that she seems to be like,
A lot more like a
normal person now. She didn't speak, though.
That's true.
That was very important, though. Right. She did not speak.
Because if she had opened her mouth, that would have been the real sign, because
we would have known immediately.
Body language is one thing, right? But how they talk is a completely different one.
I think we're both in agreement that that's actually Kemi right there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Another really hilariously meta way to do it also is that there was a little title name thing above her when they showed her. I was just like, now we know her last name.
Right, exactly.
I wonder if that's now the real one. Mm-hmm. But the other thing was there was a student of Shiketsu. What is it? Shiketsu High School that was like, Kemi's gone again. She's been disappearing a lot lately.
Did they say that?
Yeah.
Oh, because I remember them saying that. The one that you said looked like a Naruto villain, that he had been going up a lot.
No, this is when the rescue part is actually going.
Gotcha.
And one character that we haven't been introduced to yet, he had kind of a darker look to him. He looked a little bit like a heteromorphic kind of.
Oh, the one with all the eyes.
Maybe. But this guy was just like, where'd Kemi go? And it was like, that was never addressed again in the episode. So I'm guessing in the next one we're gonna have a little bit of an interesting moment coming up. So guys, good kind of setup episode for the actual probably fun, crazy, explosive episode of all the quirks being used. For rescuing and fighting.
This was the other thing that I thought was really big of this episode. Mm-hmm. They used the test to directly have Deku basically start realizing it's time for me to start acting like All Might.
Yes, you're right.
Because one, All Might's not here anymore, but also this is the kind of work that I want to be doing, not just of the fighting the villains, right? Of the actively rescuing people.
Yeah.
So I need to put on that smile.
It's something, he said he needed to turn it on. It was something that for him it's as easy as just pressing a button or flipping a switch. But that's something that once he's pressed the button or flipped the switch, he doesn't have to press it again. He can just stay like that. And I think the reason why he's avoided staying like that was because All Might's still around. It feels like he doesn't deserve the mantle, or he doesn't. And it's not his time yet.
And he can be pretty neurotic some of the time, where it's just like, okay, what's and then sort of just figure things out, right?
Right.
But projecting that confidence that he oftentimes doesn't project, that's part of the whole saving people's hearts thing.
Yeah. Good stuff. So guys, this will be the end of the discussion for this one. Mm-hmm. We've been having a little bit of troubles with copyright claims and stuff, so sorry for that whole thing there. It's just some changes probably with the YouTube algorithm and stuff. We'll hopefully get this resolved soon. If you want to watch any full-length reactions or get involved in the Discord discussion, check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of fun things there. If any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.